So, what madness will find you? Miskatonic University has invited you to lead an expedition to a remote and dangerous part of the Antarctic. Fame and prestige are on the line, but something is wrong. What horrible secrets are hidden in those remote polar regions? What's the meaning of the strange fossilized prints on the ice? And what happened to the last expedition? Choose Cthulhu is a series of game books based on the works of Howard Phillips Lovecraft. Take the role of the main character in the original stories by Providence Master and face the cosmic horror of the Cthulhu mythos. I'm a huge fan of Lovecraft, so there's quite a few of the series. How many is it? There's 14 at the moment. I only have, this is book number 2. I don't have any of the others. I skipped number 1 because I'm smart. But yeah, so Miskatonic University, lovely place, obviously set in Arkham, which is where some people realize is Batman, but Batman's actually based loosely off Lovecraft stuff, which is why there's a lot of crazy people and hallucinogenics. Smart. I'm so smart. So smart. So we'll do the introduction in a second, and then we'll read the actual bit, and we'll go into the actual game. Before we do, has everyone got their drinks? Are you ready to make some decisions with me? Because I don't do well on these. I normally pick the worst things possible, and we normally tend to die. So is the volume okay with the music? It's not too loud. It's just kind of there in the background. It's just something to listen to. Is that all okay for you? Also, my favorite cup. It's dangerous to go alone. Drink this. Love a bit of Legend of Zelda. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. And obviously you're eating. Do you have fluids with you as well before we dive into this? Make sure I put that to the side because I definitely don't want to fill that here. Not monster. She really is. She really, really is, Orca. So, yeah, no problem. We shall wait a moment while you do this. And we will, I am. Love it. Absolutely love it. So, the introduction. I'm probably going to butcher a lot of words in this, so that's my head up for you. Snot steel. That's an image to draw. So, the introduction. In this crazy world, you are what the rest would deem a boring subject. Fitting. You are a middle-aged university professor, 5 feet 11 inches tall. Always got to be taller than me. You weigh 175 pounds, the kind of person who doesn't receive a second glance, standing in line at the supermarket. However, you are smart. The type that You are smart, the type that usually avoids taking risks, and the few strong emotions you felt in your life are limited to getting a rise from time to time. A rise, whatever you want to say it. And to heated arguments about geology on Saturday mornings. Geology has never awakened in anyone any greater passion than what you'd expect from the cold and unexpressive rocks you study. Generally, they do not interest the public beyond articles in some science magazines and mentions that other professors so boring as you might make during the long conferences. On January the 11th, 1930, you received a confusing and rushed letter from Dr. Peabody, an engineer with a profile as low as yours, in which he told you that he had raised enough funds to finance this drilling apparatus. Oh, his drilling apparatus. I'm doing so well already. It took several readings for you to comprehend his excitement. Ah, the joys. I don't know why there's a delay. I said it so it shouldn't do. So that sucks. I give up. It's all good, Katie. So here we go. We're going to read the first part, and then you can all help me make decisions. And if we survive or go mad or whatnot. If there's any pictures, I'll hold them up. If there's tentacles, maybe not for Katie, I'll tell you to look away. So, the letter says, Dear friend, first, I apologize if, due to the emotion that overtakes me at the moment, fragments of my exposition are not entirely clear to you. But the unexpected... Oh my god. But the unexpected sometimes happens. As you well know, the drilling apparatus I was working on was a unique project owing to its lightness and capacity to combine the ordinary, oh my god, artisan drill principle with the principle with the principle of the small circular rock drill, which will enable drillings as deep as 5,000 feet. I choose explode everything, absolutely. And so the moment of truth has arrived. We've obtained the financing we hoped for, and we are working on its production as of right now. I know that, much like my own, your heart must be racing right now. I beg you to take a seat, for this is not the only news. Miskatonic University has not only found a private investor for this fabulous mechanical progress, it's not going to go well, but will also send us on an expedition in the Antarctic continent to test it. We will try to secure deep-level specimens of rock and soil, perfectly preserved prehistoric rocks. The university wants you, my dear friend, to lead this expedition and bring to the American museums as many fossiliferous, that's a word for you, rocks, revealing the primal life of that forgotten ice world as possible for their the inalterability throughout aeons-long darkness will uncover important knowledge about the past of our planet. Frank H. Peabody, Miskatonic University, Arkham, Massachusetts. This was not how you anticipated the start of your usual Saturday afternoon, but there is no doubt that your life has radically changed. So now you must make some decisions. So our first decisions. Number 1, you could await more news about Peabody and Miskatonic University. Number 2, try and gather more information about who organizes this expedition. Or number 3, try to find some data about the Antarctic. So what are we wanting to do first? I will have, I do have paper somewhere so I can make notes in case we do something wrong, because normally we will. But we also like to do something called save points. We normally give ourselves 3 chances of saves. If something goes wrong after that and we die, that's the end. Yeah. Sorry, just make sure I've got everything ready. What were the options again? So, number 1. Await more news about Peabody, I don't know how to pronounce the name, and Miskatonic University. Number 2, try and gather more information about who organizes this expedition. Or number 3, try to find some data about the Antarctic. Slowly, my brain is working very slowly. It's all good. It's all good, my friend. Find data. You want to find data? Okay, so we go to page 92. Adventure! Well, we'll go to segment 92. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Antarctica was the last continent on Earth to be discovered and populated. This officially took place barely 300 years ago, although its existence was known since antiquity, but the Greeks had already named it Terra Australis Incognita. Words I'm never going to be able to pronounce. Antarctica is such a dangerous and hostile region that no human settlements except for temporary research bases have been established in the territory. Therefore, should something happen to you, there would be no chance of getting help. There is no record of any species that could survive its deadly drops of temperature, which can reach as low as -94 Fahrenheit, maybe even lower in the most remote regions. And only flocks of birds and some big mammals like leopard seals, Katie, you're in it, coexist with different species of penguins, never getting away from the coast. What interests you the most is what many Antarctic researchers repeat. If one has an established plan, it is more sensible to try and accomplish it to the extent possible. An abrupt change of plans may result in death in a place where there is no way of restocking. No one will look for you where you shouldn't be. Me. So we have some more choices. So number 1, you can resume your normal life. Number 2, or maybe you'd like to investigate a bit more about your mysterious benefactors. What are we thinking, beautiful people? So I'll say it again. We can either pick number 1, you can resume your normal life, Or number 2, mysterious benefactors. Mysterious benefactors it is. Segment 46. No, you're all good, JJ. Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it. We've only just started. We got a letter basically saying an expedition to the Antarctic is being funded by an unknown benefactor. And we're basically just choosing some choices. And one was to see if we can find anything about the benefactor. I don't know, Katie. It might do. So, segment 46. You think it'd be best to learn about the expedition and the mysterious benefactor. One February morning, you are surprised with a juicy article from the Arkham Advertiser. The R looked like a Y, so it looked like it said something different. With the following information. Miskatonic expedition approved. Arkham, Massachusetts, February 3rd. Today it's been confirmed to our editorial department that the first geological expedition of Miskatonic University to the Antarctic will set out. This expedition will be altruistically funded by Nathaniel Derby Pickman Foundation. It aims at securing interesting geological samples from the lowest layers of the Antarctic ground, reaching regions never trodden by human foot. 4 professors make up the expedition team. Adaby, I can't pronounce his name. I'm going to call him Peabody, just so we all know. Lake of the Biology Department. Art Atwood of the Physics Department, also a meteorologist. And an expert on geology from Brown University. There are also 16 assistants, 7 graduate students from Miskatonic, and 9 skilled mechanics. The team is expected to leave for the Antarctic later this year, in September or October. Phillips HL. Continue on page 108. So let's do this then. 108. You have obtained much more information from the article than you had expected. Peabody had left out some of the details, and now, fully aware that the expedition is months ahead of you, you take it easy. When you return to the library to research the Nathaniel Derby Pickman Foundation, you find nothing. Even your friends from the registry and other university professors tried to help you to no avail. And so it goes until one day, many weeks later, you receive a mysterious parcel. The parcel contains 4 photographs, a dossier with press clippings, and some administrative documents inside a sepia-toned folder that is very, very tattered. Everything relates to a foundation by the name of Pickman Press, dedicated to the promotion and dissemination. Yep. Promotion and looking for of forgotten literary texts. I had to change the word there because I can't be fancy enough for that one. So we have some choices again. If you want to resume your lessons and forget about the document, turn to page 57. Or if, on the other hand, you think it is worth interrupting your routine for return home on page. So we can either resume looking into things in the lessons or go back and just kind of resume our normal routine until it's time to go. What are we thinking? Keep going, never go home. Keep going. Okay. If you think it's worth interrupting your routine for return, or oh wait. So we can either want to resume your lessons and forget about the document, turn to page 57. If, on the other hand, you think it is worth interrupting your routine for return home. Okay, so we're going to return home then. No, because you said not return home. So you want us to continue with the lesson, so 57. That would be the opposite of the other thing that I said. Okay. Actually, you are not worried about the expedition. Oh, wait. Oh god, don't say that now. I've already turned to the page. What were the options again? Okay, let me try and find it again. There we go. So, option 1. If you want to resume your lessons and forget about the document, turn to page 57. If, on the other hand, you think it is worth interrupting your routine for, return home. No, it's still going to go on with the adventure. It's just, what are we going to do in the meantime while we get information? Are we going to continue with the lessons, or... That's basically what it's hinting at. It's not very well written, but... Yeah. Carry on with the document. Okay, so we go to 105 then. Got ya. You head home behind the wheel of your old Ford. Traffic seems particularly dense this morning, and the whole journey becomes monotonous. Ooh. And extremely long. However, there is something that starts to worry you. During your drive, you keep coming across people who, for no apparent reason, stare at your car in a suspicious manner. You could even swear that a sinister black car follows you at a safe distance. After you go around in circles a few times to confirm that it's all in your imagination, you make it to your apartment. Glancing at the quiet neighborhood, you secure the bolt and resolve to read your dossier. What you see on those creased and time-yellowed papers fills you with fear. Apparently, the mysterious Pickman Foundation is not what you'd expect from an oh my god, I can't pronounce the word. Academic words foundation. Over its more than 100 years of history, it's operated under different names, financing all sorts of projects and expeditions aimed at recovering relics and heathen or forbidden texts from the tragic attempt at snatching the manuscripts of the Book of Daizan from the hands of sectarians, which resulted in a massacre in Florida's marshes, to financing the disturbing paintings of Richard Pickman, the mad artist. The photographs that are included in this parcel are horrifying proofs of his work and show horrible old men with undefined faces. Could this expedition be a cover to unveil some secret that should remain hidden? Carry on with your life to 41. Ooh, I think we're going to go mad by the end of this. With your nerves on end and the pressing feeling that you're being observed day and night, you let the days go by without leaving your home. Finally, on the 2nd day of September 1930, the moment you were waiting for comes. A brief letter from Miskatonic University that calls you to leave immediately. The most remarkable thing is the list of your travelling companions and the equipment you'll need. You show up at Boston Bay with the intention of meeting the rest of the crew, and Professor Peabody explains to you all the details of the trip. You'll leave in 2 ships, the Arkham, commanded by Captain J.B. Douglas, and the Fast Brick, Miskatonic, commanded by George Thorfinson. Both veteran whalers in Antarctic waters. The rest of the crew don't take long to arrive at the bay. After greeting your university colleagues, you board the Arkham, and almost blinded by your excitement, you head south, leaving the inhabited world slowly behind you. Okay, continuing trip to 78. I don't know how long this will last. It's not a huge book, so I'm assuming it will do what it can. Right, 78. As soon as there's an option for you all, I'll let you know. On November 7th, you lose sight of the American continent. The next day you catch a glimpse of your distant destination, the cones of Mount Erebus and Mount Terror. In the afternoon, you leave behind the dangerous and narrow paths between the glaciers and step into McMurdo Bay. The 2 volcanoes observe you from their height of 10,000 feet, filling your hearts with the feeling evoked by their names, a dark and abyssal fear. Down the barren coast, thousands of grotesque, abnormally large penguins squawk and flap their flippers, while fat seals are visible on the water, either swimming or sprawling across large cakes of slowly drifting ice. The boats will remain anchored here, and their wireless outfits will be your link to civilization while you step into the mysterious frozen regions. Squawk. You don't even want to think about what would occur if something bad happened to them. You'd be doomed to a slow and lonely death. Sounds very positive. You unload all your drilling apparatus, dogs, sledges, tents, provisions, gasoline tanks, experimental ice melting outfits, cameras, airplane parts, and most importantly, 3 small portable wireless outfits beside those in the planes, capable of communicating with the Arkham from any part of the Antarctic continent. Okay, we're going to continue your Antarctic adventure on 61. squid duck. Absolutely. The penguins in this, when they're described, they're the... I don't know if they're the right penguins I'm thinking of. I know they happen later because I've read the stories, one of my favorites. The penguins from many years ago before this, terrifying, huge. So if they happen in this as well, the description is insane. You start to grow aware of the fact that the adventure has begun and of the dangers you are facing. Although you are wrapped up warmly, gusts of steam escape your mouths with each breath, and even your eyelashes are freezing. With everything on the line, it's time to make oh my god, I don't know why I try to read. With everything on the line, it's time to make really important decisions. As the chief academic, the choice of what to do next lies with you. The answer is quite clear. You have to travel southwards to the closest glacier and establish the first drilling post. You think this is the ideal place to look for fossils. The question that is raised is whether you should set up an intermediate security camp in the frozen plateaus, or travel directly, forcing the planes to fly to the base of the glacier itself. The weather is nice enough, warm even, to try and cross it. But on the other hand, an abrupt change of temperature could put an end to your trip before it has properly started. The biologist of the group, Professor Lake, approaches you and asks, well, what will we do now? The weather seems stable enough to try and advance as much as possible, but in the Antarctic, this can change in a matter of minutes. So we have some choices. If you decide not to rely on the weather and establish an intermediate camp, go to page 36. If, on the other hand, you think nothing bad will come from forcing a flight of more than 400 miles southwards, take off on page 72. I'll read that again for you all. If you decide not to rely on the weather and establish an intermediate camp, go to page 36. I've got one just saying adventure, the other one says camp. So you want us to establish an intermediate camp. Go to page 36. Okay then. 36. I think a camp is a good idea, honestly. Because it is the Antarctica, maybe setting one up is a good idea. Jenny is sensible, I am not. Jenny is the most sensible one of us all. Was it 36 we had to go to? I can't remember. Okay. Are you ready for this? We're going to set up an intermediate camp, right? You're going to love this, Jenny. Your decision was not a good decision. Nope. Just saw a picture. It wasn't a good decision. Look what happened to a lot of expeditions. Yes, look what's about to happen to us now. Commodities are scarce in such a dangerous region. Precautions must be taken. Using half the fuel reserve, you fly 20 miles into deserted territory with the intention of landing somewhere on an icy clearing. In a couple of hours, 3 of the 4 planes have landed. Professor Lakes deviates somewhat from its course due to magnetic interference. You start to worry when the night falls without news from the professor, and the temperature plummets to lower than -20 Fahrenheit. The strong winds and the odd magnetic anomaly detected by the professor before getting lost interfere with your wireless. Every hour narrows the chances of finding them alive. So you send 2 groups of 6 sledges to the last known coordinates of the plane, for risking a takeoff now would lead to their certain death. What happens in the following days defies all reason. It's less than a day-long trip to McMurdo Bay, and you have barely made it to the frontier of the frozen continent. Yet you find yourselves wholly isolated and disorientated. Weeks go by, the weather becomes more hostile, and there's no trace of prior expeditions. Maybe one day a group of adventurers will find your frozen corpse hugging a silent transmitter. The end. Thanks, JJ. We froze to death. Okay, so we're not going to do that. We're going to go to the other option. The other option was nothing bad will come from it, forcing a flight of more than 400 miles southwards, 72. Yep, 72 it is. So, in nearly under half an hour, we've had our first death. Why not so sensible ideas sound pretty good right now? I know, right? That's exactly. People are rarely found, so it's basically like you're gonna be lost there. So, our other choice we could take is, if on the other hand you think nothing bad will come from forcing a flight of more than 400 miles southwards, take off on page 72. So we're going to 72. Despite the almost unanimous reports regarding the terrible winds and blizzards that blew over the plateau, you resolved to do without midway bases, risking the loss of your apparatus but saving time considerably so as to take advantage of the Antarctic summer. On November 21, during the 4-hour non-stop flight just below you at frozen ground level, a completely inexplicable and brutal fog storm breaks out. You effortlessly, Jesus, fly over it, thankful to have taken a risk and left your provisions behind. Huge summits watch you from the west, while the unfathomable silence echoes the sound of your engines. The wind only bothers you moderately, and the radio direction finders help you cross what little opaque fog you find at those heights. Finally, you enter the Aeon's Dead southern confines far away to the east. You can see the summit of Mount Nansen, which rises to almost 9,000 feet. The south base, as you call the spot of the glacier, is set up without difficulties, and soon you start to work with the fast drills. Isn't like hundreds, maybe thousands? Oh yeah, absolutely yeah. Oh god, yeah. And obviously the bodies, you actually walk past them, people just leave them there because there's no way they can bring them back. So you actually, if you go up there, you do walk past them and you see them, which is insane. So continue with your investigation on page 107. We're doing well, guys. We've died once. Doing so good. Oh, this is a long thing to read. It is very sad, but you know, expeditions and curiosity is a good thing, but also a dangerous thing, which is something that Lovecraft in his stories is about, you know? So, you spend the first weeks looking for the best drilling spots, while Peabody and two of the graduates, Gedney and Carroll, ascend the summit of Mount Nansen in search of fossils. The experimental drillings reveal the existence of solid ground just 12 feet down through ice, and Peabody's drilling apparatus reached places where no previous explorer had ever thought of securing mineral specimens. The rocks obtained are so rare and different from what was known to date about the Antarctic that it makes you think that you're standing on a plateau that constituted another independent and smaller continent. Something totally impossible. But without a doubt, the greatest surprise comes the day you find a curious triangular striated marking about a foot in diameter, which Lake, the biologist of the expedition, pieced together from 3 fragments of slate brought up from a deep blasted aperture in a cavern. I think we should examine the fossil more thoroughly, Professor Lake says excitedly. This might be the most important discovery in the history of humanity. The rock is undoubtedly ancient, possibly more than 60 million years old, but it's still just a fossil, and you say as much to the biologist. I don't think you understand. If I'm not mistaken, these striated markings have organic origin. Organic, you ask, incredulous. You mean tubular fossils, like seaweed? I'm afraid they are something even more incomprehensible. We need to change the original course of our expedition and head west over the mountains to find new samples. Take it. Probably cursed, but take it. A lot of things are cursed in this, just like in the Mummy movies. We already died once. What's a curse gonna do? That's true, we already froze to death. So our options to choose from. If you wish to accede to Professor Lake's desires, you can send an expedition to the Queen Alexandra Range on page 55. If, on the other hand, you decide to stick to the original plan and overfly the South Pole, go to 104 with your whole team. What are we thinking? I'll read that again for you all. If you wish to accede to Professor Lake's desires, you can send an expedition to the Queen Alexandra Range on page 55. Hey Nord, how are you doing? How's life? How's things? How is your day going, my love? Has it been going good? I just blow my nose. Can you repeat that? I will absolutely repeat the choices for you to pick. If you wish to accede to Professor Lake's desires, you can send an expedition to the Queen Alexandra Range on page 55. If, on the other hand, you decide to stick to the original plan and overfly the South Pole, go to 104 with your whole team. But yeah, how's your day been going, my love? I just realized I should have brought water for my throat. This is a lot of talking. It's been a long day, but now it's done, so now I can relax. I'm good that you're... I'm assuming you're home now and that you can relax, good friend. The first option. So you want us to follow Professor Lake's desires? We're going to number 55. Just as you suspected, Lake is completely obsessed with the finding that it soon becomes clear that contradicting him will have no results. With no time to spare, as soon as he receives your authorization, he breaks into a run towards the radio to inform McMurdo Station of your alleged finding. What he replies worries you to a great extent. According to him, it's the fossilized print of some bulky, unknown, and radically unclassifiable organism of considerably advanced evolution for the sort of rock where it was found. That was a mouthful for me, just so you all know. I'm going to read that again, just so you can all be impressed with that. It's a fossilized print of some bulky, unknown, and radically unclassifiable organism of considerably advanced evolution for the sort of rock where it was found. That's something you can verify. Or it is a Cambrian or pre-Cambrian rock, and according to history, nothing superior to a trilobite, well, however you want to pronounce it, would have existed so far back in time. So they're like microscopic, by the way. Could have existed so far back in time. Lake suggests taking the dogs along with Dr. Peabody to operate the drill, and a pilot and 4 students to assist in the search in one of the planes. You and the rest of your team... Hello, Peanut. Yeah. Oh my god, Peanut's gonna come up now. You and the rest of your team will stick to the original plan without a doubt. This is a short crew, but with the camp still unfinished, it's all you can afford. Trust the prof. That way, if we die, it's his fault. I completely agree. Completely agree with that. It's not our fault. It's the professor's fault. So, the 2 expeditions split on page 42. Carboids, exactly. You know, JJ. Here we go. Just as you feared, Lake's haste turns out to be reckless. Although you all head south, Lake's plane soon opts for a route that'll bring him closer to the West Mountain Range. The reports are frequent, and he warns you of a strong wind and the menacing fog banks that rise from the distant mountains and move towards you. The students look worried, for the dogs have started to behave in a strange manner, and the aircraft are not answering in a reliable way. You press Lake to turn around, but that only enrages him. As for you, the trip turns out to be quite comfortable, owing in part to Lake's warnings, which you decide to heed in order to avoid accidents and have a safe flight. I love the Tremors movies. They're such good movies. Have you seen them all? It's quite a lot. The first one is brilliant. It's all good, Katie. It's all good. Okay, continue your flight on page 36. No. No. We die. No, we don't. Whoa, no, wait. 36 it was, wasn't it? Yeah, no, that's us freezing to death again. So it was... 107 was where we're at, right? Okay, we've died twice. Oh my god, we just can't do anything right, can we? We've died twice. Okay, so we have to go back. So what we are going to do is we're going to decide to stick to the original plan and overfly the South Pole, go to 104. Yeah, we died. We froze to death. The first 2 are the ones I watched the most, and I haven't gone past. There's a 4th one? I thought there was only 3. We did. We could either follow Professor Lake's desires, or we could stick to the original plan. So we're going to follow that. So we're going to go to 104. We're not doing well, are we? We're not doing well at all. Tact Tactfully, in order to avoid confrontation, you tell Lake that this fragment might be anything and that splitting up the group and the provisions might be fatal, which is a smart move to say. Really, JJ, we need to watch these. Lake doesn't agree and complains angrily while he circles the tent that's been reinforced by blocks of hard snow. You don't understand, we found a fossil that can change the history of humanity. It is not the time to be intimidated. He seems very anxious and finishes his sentences with a scream. Maybe we should ask someone at Arkham University for help, someone who's qualified to make decisions regarding really important findings. What a bitch. You are somewhat taken back by the biologist's words, but you decide to stick to your original plan. You order that the camp be taken down early the next morning. You leave... Hello, Peanut. Maybe we both don't want to spoil it too much. You'll leave in search of the South Pole opposite Lake's requested direction. We'll go to number 3. How many times have we died? Twice now? Hello. How are you doing? Yeah. What's up? It's weird because it didn't show up your comments, but I can see it on my chat on the side, Orc. I'm sorry. Despite Lake's angry complaints, you conceive the group to stick as closely as possible to the original plan, at least until the goals of the expedition are met, and the fossils and geological specimens can be secured, which was what Peabody's drilling apparatus was built for. Your prudence proves oh god. Words. Yeah, and after a bumpy journey, the 4 apparatus lands safely on the icy belt that subdivides the continent. The new camp meets your expectations perfectly well, except for the constant complaints from Lake, who assures you that you are missing out on something great, and insists on the base camp to let him split up the expedition. Finally, on January 11th, with the express approval of Miskatonic University, Lake is allowed to explore the West Mountain Range while you continue drilling as closely as possible to the South Pole. Taking the lead in this new expedition, Professor Lake decides to take the planes and a team of 11 men with him. Only Professor Peabody and 5 other students remain with you in camp. In theory, it should be enough to continue the investigation until March, when your return, as well as the start of summer, is expected. Hey Seth, how you doing, my love? How's life? How's things? We've died twice so far. Twice. By freezing to death. It's going well. May your invasion go well and lead to victory, Nord. Absolutely, Nord. No, it's all good, my love. You go and enjoy. Have an amazing time, okay? Enjoy the game. I really appreciate it, my love. Yeah, Seth, how you doing? How's life? How's things? You all good? So we're going to continue our investigation on page 20. As soon as we get a choice, I will let you all decide. Hopefully we don't die again, because we've already died twice. It's all good, Nord. Enjoy your game, okay? Cheers, my friend. Cheers indeed. So, Lake's expedition sends you a period. Oh my god, I don't know why I tried to read. I can't English, I can't read, but I try. Lake's expedition sends you periodic wireless reports to you so you can broadcast them to Arkham and from there to the outside world. The first messages are a warning about the dangers of the trip, and they tell you how soon they'll need you to provide them with geological knowledge. However, the actual moment that makes you wish you'd gone with them comes 6 hours later. 10.05 night. After a terrible snowstorm, we've seen a mountain range. May equal Himalayas. Higher than any... Oh my god. Hitherto... Oh god. Hitherto? That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Dean. Extends from left to right as far as the eye can see. Oh my god. Smoky cones and black peaks. Strong wind hinders approach. I'm flying over the mountain range with Carol, and I don't dare cross the highest peak in this weather. The summits are gigantic and really strange, seemingly made out of pre-Cambrian slate. Odd formations of impressive geometrical words. Yeah, English major. Forms on the slopes. Carol believes they are carved stones, but that's impossible. We have been able to see an abundance of surprisingly regular caverns. Half an hour later, they inform you of their return to camp to rest. Periodic communications were set for every 12 hours unless something extraordinary should happen. So basically, what they're basically saying is, while he's flying around, there's these strange mountains that are unusually shaped, but seem to be carved, but also natural at the same time. That's what it's basically describing. Just so we all know. I don't count the second one as it was the same death. That's true. That's true. So I've annoyed tonight with everyone's really mad at me. Oh, really? How come? Spill the beans. Spill the beans. Tell us. Or send us a private message. Either one. I'm a nosy bitch. It's weird for you to annoy someone. Buffy died twice and it worked out in the end for her. You have a point. You do have a point. We need to watch once more with feeling at some point. Just so we all know. So, without delay, you also go to sleep. Go to 23. And we have a choice at the end of this, so we do have a choice. In the morning and in the following days, the reports come one after the other, and you are sure that you erred by staying in the camp. Attention! Many striated tracks, like the ones found in the archaic slate, show that it originated more than 6,000 million years ago. Highlight the importance of this discovery in the press. This is to biology what Einstein was to physics. It seems to point that, as I suspected, the Earth has witnessed one or many cycles of organic life prior to the one we know. It evolved when It evolved when the planet was young and uninhabitable, any protoplasmic structure or form of life. This leads to the question of when, where, and how that development occurred. Absolutely, Seth, absolutely. Just now later, you receive the following statement. Found an odd piece of rock. It looks like a 5-pointed starfish with broken edges. It doesn't seem natural. There are small dotted groups of inscriptions. When we have lights, Mills and I will enter the underground world. With this last transmission, madness breaks loose. Both Peabody and Miskatonic University request more and more details, begging you to meet with Lake as soon as possible to double-check the results of the thing's age. However, you are not certain leaving the base hastily would be wise, and we have a choice. We do have a choice. Let me just make sure I mark this one in case we die. So, if you want to leave immediately, turn to page 52. If you think it's wiser to wait until you have more information about the discovery, turn to 98. Now, I think 52 would be a bad decision. I think the first one is a bad decision. I think we should wait, but it depends on what you think. So, I'll let you choose the bad decisions here, not me for once. So. Oh, Katie's being reasonable. You want us to wait? We can wait, absolutely. What does everyone else think? Happy for us to wait? Observe the madness. Okay, observe the madness, so wait as well. We can absolutely do that. I've written down the section just in case it does go wrong. Bribe with cheese. I wish that was an option, Orca, but it's not. And also, it depends on what type of cheese. So I like cheese, but it has to be a certain type. I don't like really stinky cheese. Can't stomach it. Ugh. Okay, so we're going to be wise and wait. We're going to page 98. Fingers crossed this goes well. It's always an option, is it? It's not in this, unfortunately. Have you ever thought of making one of these and just make it out like just cheese obsessed? I like chocolate milk. Chocolate milk is good. Oh, damn. We have a picture on this one as well and some choices, so I'll read this. That comment, Katie, reminds me of, what is that Foster's Home for Monsters, whatever it is, that old cartoon, the little blue thing that used to smack its head like, I like this game. That's what you reminded me of, because he always likes to go around saying I like chocolate milk, didn't he? Anyway, number 98, we have a picture after this and some choices for you to make. Of course I got it. I used to be obsessed with it. Hello, Jordo. How you doing? How's life? How's things? So I'm going to read this. I'm actually kind of impressed. Thank you. Yeah, that's cheese. Now, all I can see is the Buffy dream and the guy with the cheese. I don't remember the Buffy dream at all, sadly enough. So, number 98. But the true outbreak of madness comes with one of the last messages received. 10:15 p.m. Orendorff and Watkins have discovered a monstrous barrel-shaped fossil of wholly unknown nature, probably vegetable, unless overgrown specimen of unknown marine Radita. Tissue must be flexible, like a barrel with 5 bulging ridges in place of staves. From its back, combs or wings spread out like fans. God forgive us, but this being reminds me one of certain monsters of primal myth in Necronomicon, Elder Things. Hearing the news, an intense shiver runs down your spine. The wireless operator, McTie, doesn't understand your sudden paleness and stays on guard beside the wireless. 11:30 p.m. Matter of transcendent importance. Mills, Baudreau, and Fowler discovered 13 underground creatures of organic specimens. 8 are in perfect condition and have decided to bring them to base. Issue is the dogs refuse to get close. We'll have to drag them ourselves. Already seen a complete specimen. It's 8 feet tall, 4 tough muscular arms, 16 feet long, ending in membranous triangles as means of transport, which have made prints in rocks from 1,000 to 60 million years old. Here is the picture so you all know what it is they're basically describing. And then I'll read what the choices are, and then I will have a catch-up of chat. If you believe the report is important enough to make you leave already, go to 52. I think that's a bad decision. If you decide to wait a bit longer before leaving to gather more information, turn to 29. But I will let you all make the decision for us. Okay, let me have a chat. I'm good, but how are you? I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Bye, lady. Lady, bye. Bye-bye, lady. What? Oh, yes. Sorry, yeah, the cartoon still. The dream is where they are dealing with the first Slayer. I don't remember the cheese, though. Big monster bulge, you're not going to lie. That's all I heard. That's fair, me too, Jordo. Yeah, the imagination was definitely right with that one. Yep. Wait, I like Ethereal. Absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to wait. Are we all agreeing to wait? I think we should wait, but obviously it depends on how many say. Here's my horse. Yes. Oh my god. So are we all waiting? Yeah, wait. Perfect. So, turn to 29. Yeah, 29. Here we go. Despite Peabody's constant complaints, you decide to stick around camp in the South Pole for a bit longer. If you learned anything from your stay in the Antarctic, it's the necessity of following your original plans. And that's worked well for you so far. After bearing some rather insulting remarks from parts of your team who consider you a coward, new reports come. Important! We managed to bring 6 whole specimens in good condition to camp. Tonight we will start dissecting them. New base established on the sides of the mysterious mountain range. Strong winds almost made us crash. Don't get near the summits. I repeat, don't get near the summits. When it's almost 4 in the morning and all your team is resting, the radio operator receives a last mysterious message. The creatures react to sunlight in an unexpected manner. We have had to conceal them with a tarpaulin covered in snow so they don't decompose. A peculiar blizzard is coming from the mountain. We cut off communication until tomorrow. Worried about the last telegraph news, you go to bed. You can't do anything until your team has rested. Wake up tomorrow on 81. Then he wakes up and kills us all. You've read Lovecraft? Right, I'll be lurking for a second. No, it's all good, Jordan. It's all good. I still appreciate you being here and lurking, my friend. Here we go. At 10 in the morning, just as you'd agreed with Lake, you contact his camp over the wireless. Attention, Professor Lake, you copy me? Repeats McTie for the 3rd time in a row. No one is answering. It is odd, so you decide to have Arkham's large wireless outfit contact the camp located below the faraway mountains. You give the order and some minutes later, you get an answer. Here, Douglas from McMurdo. Danger, danger. The voice sounds distorted and distant. The wireless operator, McTie, looks at you with concern while he adjusts the setting of the outfit. The reply comes with a delay and is almost inaudible. You can only make out the following fragments. Lake Camp, Electric, oh my god, perturbances on the Lost. You hear me? Sunny weather, strange fogginess. McTie and your men look at you, awaiting orders. It's a tough decision. Lake is in the thick of the windstorm, and it is possible he'll need your help. But leaving without giving notice to Arkham might be dangerous. If you get lost, no one will know where to find you. After much thought, you decide it is necessary to help Lake as soon as possible. At 7:15 the next morning, January 25, you set out northeastwards, towards the foot of the mysterious mountains, discovered by the expedition to the unknown. Leave using the calm is your favorite to help Lake and turn to 52. That doesn't sound good. Oh, is it 52? You give notice to the pilot of the 5th plane, reserved for emergencies. You come back to come pick you up from McMurdo with reinforcements, and you start loading the equipment. Lake's support team consisted of you and 9 other men, 7 dogs and a sledge. You carry weapons, provisions, fuel, and replacement parts for emergencies. Peabody will be able to operate his drilling apparatus, and you can put an end to the mystery of Lake's impossible findings. The plane glides to page 85. I feel like we've made something wrong here. Just gonna say this now. We're probably gonna die. Oh no, we have choices. We have choices. We're all good. The snow aggressively hits the windows. Sherman, the pilot, can only see a few inches ahead of the nose of the large airplane, which is shaken by the wind. You are all frightened. Just as it seems you are lost, something appears in the fog. These are the impressive jet black summits of the unknown mountains that rise above the clouds as if oblivious to the strength of the storm. They are still far away, but they seem to dominate the fog as if they could repel it. Suddenly, the shape of these mountains catches your eye. As a geologist, you've never seen anything like it. Stories from forbidden books and their descriptions of old and abhorrent places come to mind, like the Plateau of Leng mentioned in the, oh my god, Pnatic manuscripts, and the infamous Necronomicon. Sherman asks you what to do next. So we've got a choice. So you can try landing and search the camp on foot, or we can approach the mountains and fly over the summits on page 64. What are we thinking, you beautiful people? You want to try landing? Okay. Try landing? We can do that, absolutely. Both are dangerous. Both are very dangerous, but I've saved the page so we know where we are if we don't do good. Okay. Still started off the huge electric storm that surrounds the Mountains of Madness, way title drop. Your group manages to land about 300 feet from Lake's base camp. It could also mean that, but I think there's going to be some anyway, maybe. As soon as you disembark the plane, you comprehend the terrible suffering undergone by the men of the expedition. Lake has established his base in the middle of a barely sheltered plateau, and the wind coming from the slope meets it with extreme violence. Luckily, the weather has calmed down now, but it's easy to imagine what the explorers would have gone through in the midst of a storm. We do have weapons. It did say we had weapons. The dogs won't leave the plane, as if something terrifies them. So before unloading the equipment and taking control of the facilities, you resolve to conduct a thorough investigation about what's happened in Lake's camp. What you see fills you with horror. The prefabricated shelters are half destroyed. There are machines and sledges in ruins everywhere. On page 22, you'll find a map with every place you can visit and a list of names. Once you've finished your investigations, you'll be able to resume your search. Page 22. Okay, we've got a map. 1 second. Oh, shit, we do have a map. Oh. That was number 6 we read. So, here is the map. I will read you the choices. There's a lot of choices here. So here is the map. And we have some choices here I'm going to read to you. There's quite a few choices, and we'll tick them off as we go along, okay? Okay. So, if you want to investigate the dog corrals, page 88. So we can investigate the dogs. That's number 1. Number 2, if you want to investigate the camp, Page 94. Option number 3. You can put number 1, 2, or 3, depending on what it is. So number 1, if you want to investigate the dog corrals. Number 2, if you want to investigate the camp. Number 3, if you're interested in the common grave. Number 4, if you want to visit the hangar. Number 5, if you think you've already resolved the mystery, we can go to a different page. Or number 6, if the odd metal structure catches your attention. That's quite a lot to decide there. And I'll read that again. Number 1, if you want to investigate the dog rolls. Number 2, if you want to investigate the camp. Number 3, if you're interested in the common grave, which I kind of am. Number 4, if you want to visit the hangar. Number 5, if you think you've already resolved the mystery. Or number 6, if the odd metal structure catches your attention. 6. Katie, don't say that. You know I can't pronounce that word. 2 or 6. We've got 1 for 2 and 1 for 6. Okay, so you're thinking of the strange structure. You don't want to have a look at the actual camp. You want to go to the strange structure. Okay, I've saved the pages of the map and what we were on before in case we need to do it. So, if we do die, we know what to do. So, the strange metal structure, go to 106. The metallic structure soon catches the eye of your team. It's a building made of various prefabricated tents which have been joined together and reinforced by ice. As you get closer, you see how a wall of ice blocks that had once been raised is now blood-stained and in ruins. Stepping in, you realize this is the place where Lake and his team performed the autopsies of the creatures. Now the place is wrecked, as if a terrible fight had taken place. The remains of 2 of the rescue specimens are decomposing and stinking of rotten eggs, twisting your stomachs. In the center of the room, there's still a stretcher where a tarpaulin is covering something. So, it falls on us and we die, yeah. So, we can either examine what is lying under the tarp, or we can return to camp and choose a different location to look for survivors. That means we go to the map. Do we want to have a look at what's underneath it? Or are we wanting to continue looking around? So you want to look underneath? A bookmark here just in case. I'm going to make Lemzip as well, actually. Go for it. Go for it. We're going to go look under the tarp while you go do that. And I'm going to have a sip of my water while you go make some Lemzip, my friend. Thank you for being patient with me. I don't want to put my drink over there. So, to examine what is laying under the tarp on 11. So we're going to 11. Accompanied by McTie and Peabody, you walk to the autopsy table with a racing heart. Okay, you can still hear perfect. You undo the tarp and see something that fills you with horror. Before you, there's a carefully dissected body of a man lacking a head. His organs have been carefully, but not professionally, removed. It seems the procedure was performed by a butcher rather than a doctor. By his feet is the headless carcass of one of the dogs, to which someone has sewn Fowler's head in a grotesque manner. You wretch. Covering the horrifying sight, you examine the rest of the tent, searching for any hint of what could have happened. What catches your attention the most is that the tent heater is smashed as if someone had attacked the machine with a hammer or a rock. In addition, there are a large number of burned matches around a gigantic block of half-melted ice. So, choices. We can either return to the main map and continue with the investigation, or maybe it'd be wiser to alert McMurdo and send a signal of disaster to alert the world. So that scene in the book at the Mountains of Madness is, when you read it, it's actually really terrifying compared to what it is in this. Because of how everything is described in it. I absolutely love this book to bits. You think we should alert? We can absolutely alert. Because it's described more of it's scientifically done. I know, the poor dog, yeah. Not a fan of that at all. Not a fan of that at all. Okay, we've got 1 for alert, 1 to keep going. I want ice monsters. We'll roll the dice, okay? 1 to 3, we keep going. 4 to 6, we alert, okay? We got a 4, we alert. So we go to 80. I am going to save this just in case it is the end there, because I don't know. So if we want to go back and continue, we can. So 80. If you have a feather... Feather? I have a feather? I have a feather? I have a feather? I don't like feathers. At the... fuck's sake. I bloody do as well. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Hi, Nico. How you doing, my love? You alright? How's your day gone, beautiful? One second while I get this. I don't like feathers. I'm trying not to touch it. I have a fear of feathers because when I was a kid, my sister used to chase me with them and it used to send me into like pure panic. So I have this weird fear of feathers. Don't like them. Feathered pillows? No. What if it pokes your eye out? Getting a headache? No, it's all good. I appreciate that you've come in and that you've said hi, and I'm so sorry you're getting a headache. Please look after yourself, hon, but I really appreciate that you popped in to say hi. Thank you so much, you little angel. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Thank you. Right, we were going to alert, weren't we? Which was 80. Thank you, Nico. That's supposed to be a sign that your guardian angel or past loved one is watching over you. Well, I'd rather they don't. I have enough poo-poo going on. Okay, certainly something horrible's happened to Lake's team. Something too terrible to have a reasonable explanation. You gather your men. You're sure there can be no survivors. It is time to speak to McMurdo Sound so they can evacuate you as soon as possible. Many years go by, you can forget the horrors lived in the Antarctic lands, but at least you returned alive. Who knows what terrible experiences were suffered by those who were left their fate on the slopes of the Mountains of Madness. Maybe with time you'll recover enough to start a new expedition, but for now, this is the end, question mark. So that actually ends it, so we actually survived that, so that's good. But I kind of want to continue, so we're going to go back and see what else happens. Yeah, so we're going to go back. So it was number 11, wasn't it? We're going to return to the map. We're going to 22. Nope. So that alert basically saved us and we escaped. So our other options is investigate the dog crawls, number 1. Number 2, investigate the camp. Number 3, investigate the common grave. Number 4, visit the hangar. Or number 5, you've already resolved the mystery. I've left out the ones that we've done already, so we can just keep going from there. What are we thinking? What are we thinking, you beautiful people? Sorry about that. I thought I would do that quietly enough it wouldn't pick that up. I apologize. Doggy justice. Doggy justice. What happens if we choose the other option when we found the dog? What was the other option? I need to see what the other option was. 1 second. Number 11. 1 second. The other one is just to go back to the map and investigate. So we're still here. So, number 1, investigate the dog crawls. Number 2, investigate the camp. Number 3, you're interested in the common grave. Number 4, you want to visit the hangar. Or number 5, you've already resolved the mystery. I know what the mystery is. but obviously some of you don't know the story, so I don't think we should do number 5. So we'll just go between number 1 and 4. Investigate the camp 94. Do this. Ooh. There's quite a few choices here on this one. Lake's main camp is in sound condition, apparently. As soon as you near it, you cry Lake's name as well as his pilots, but no one comes out to welcome you. There are 4 tents in camp, forming a semicircle along with a smaller one in the middle and another far from the rest. One of the 4 big ones, reinforced by heavy walls of ice. 2 are the enormous tents, where the men sleep during their rest hours. A 3rd one is where the findings of the expedition and the heavy machinery are kept, and the last one serves as a dining hall and leisure area. The 5th one, which is much smaller and more sheltered, houses the wireless and vital equipment, while the most remote tent serves as a makeshift latrine. Relieving yourself in the cold could be deadly. So we have some options here. Number 1, examine the camp beds. Option 2, examine the tent with the wireless outfits. Number 3, examine the leisure area. Number 4, if on the other hand you'd rather check the latrines. Or number 5, if you want to visit the storage area. So this is a big sort of area that we've got. We've got a nice little picture of a little dagger there. A little ceremonial dagger. Doesn't talk about it, but it's there. The music is very happy, isn't it? Just blinded myself. Let's skip to that. Make it a bit more spooky. You want to visit the storage area? We can absolutely do that. So, the storage area 26. Put this here so we can come back to this if we want to investigate the other area. So, if you want to visit the storage area, go to 26. The storage area has been partially dismantled and some parts of the structure of the tent have been used to either reinforce or enlarge the constructions. There's little to see here except for the large number of missing pieces of Peabody's second apparatus, particularly the motor and bits. You also notice some tracks left by 3 sledges that lead from the tent to the mountain range of madness. However, you don't see the dog tracks, which unsettles you. So we can either continue our investigation and go back to 94, where we can choose other places of the camp to investigate, or we can return to the map area and keep looking around that area. But the main thing is there's no signs of the dogs. We know there is one that we did find that was mutilated. That's the word I want to use. Mutilated. Continue to the camp. Okay, so go to 94 again. So we can either go to the camp beds, option 1. Option 2, the tent with the wireless outfits. Option 3, the leisure area. Or option 4, the latrines. That is our choices for now. The latrines. You want to go to the poops. You want to go to the toilet. Knock knock. You pooping? So the latrines go to 28. Oh, there's some choices here for this one. The existence of a tent exclusively for latrines is essential in the Antarctic. Exposing any part of your body to these temperatures may result in immediate freezing, with resulting gangrene and amputations. No one wants them amputated, I'm sure. The space for the latrines is small and, as you expected, empty. However, the door is open and the hole used to relieve oneself is exposed to the cold from the outside. There's something that catches your attention, a trail of salt that seems to trace a circle around the putrid hole. Poo-poo it is. Poo-poo it is indeed. I don't know. Let's have a look. If you think it'd be better to retrace your steps and continue exploring the base camp, turn to 94 is option 1. Option 2, continue around other areas of the map. So we go back to 22. Or if you want to take a look at the black wall, someone will have to put their hand in it. Oh, if you want to look at the black well, someone will have to put their hand in it. I think they're asking if we want to put our hand in the toilet. Demon hole, reveal thyself, demons. Are we doing this? Are we going to put our hand in the toilet? Hand in it is. Oh, God. Okay. So, 102. Circle of Salt. Where are the Winchesters when you need them? So true. So true. Okay. 102. Are you ready for this? None of your companions seem inclined to stick their hand in the hole of the latrines. You enter the... Oh, no, wait. Let me try that again. None of your companions seem inclined to stick their hand in the hole of the latrines, and they advise you against doing it. However, there is something odd about those trails of salt. You enter the cubicle, and the odor of rotten fish almost makes you vomit. You bring your face closer to the white trail that surrounds the hole and realize it's covered in small marks as if someone had pressed striated triangles ending in small dots all over the surface. Lake's fossils, you think at once. But who would stamp the marks as if they were tracks? Unless these were really tracks, that would mean something appalling. Discarding the idea, you resolve to stick your hand, protected by thick gloves, into the hole. You fumble in the sticky semi-frozen puddle until something hard seems to move when you touch it. Holding whatever it is you found, you pull on it until you remove it from the excrement. A scream escapes from your mouth. Horrified, you fling poor Professor Lake's head away from you. So we found Professor Lake's head. We did not find demon poop. So we can turn to hunting to the main camp. Or if you're brave enough to resume the investigation in camp on 94. If you think these events are too dreadful to face on your own, we contact McMurdo. We're not going to contact McMurdo. We've done that and it resolves. It just basically says we go home. So we can either go back to the map or we continue looking around the camp at other parts. See, putting your hand in holes is good. Yes, we flung a head out of a poo-poo hole. My question is something that left strange markings. Put the head in the poo-poo hole. I was like, yes, this is perfect. Go back to the camp, gotta find everything. Go back to the camp, gotta find everything. Okay, so we've done the latrines, we've done the storage area. We have either option 1, the camp beds. Option 2, examine the tent with the wireless outfits. Or option 3, examine the leisure area. Makes you sound like a fan of fisting Katie. Who knows with Katie? Who knows? Who knows? Try to move it away from the mic, but I'll just have to mute myself next time. So, what are we thinking for the options, you beautiful people? Are we going to examine the camp beds, the tent with the wireless outfits on it, or the leisure area? Dice away, we don't need the dice for this. Master Chief, leisure area. If only Master Chief. Okay, so the leisure area is page 17. Let's hope we do well. Ooh. Ooh. Leisure area is located under a tent almost as big as the ones with the camp beds. Lake has set up a wooden table around which there are 4 chairs. The room seems to be empty, but someone served dinner for 2 that is now freezing, with no one to finish it. The tent heater has gone missing, and there are drag marks from the place where it once was to the machinery area. There's a piece of paper nailed to a wall. It's a list of the assigned tasks. January 20/27. Atwood, wireless reports 10, 16, 22:30. D. Daniels and Brennan, dog corrals every other day. Fowler, outpost Bordeaux, Gegner, and Lake, study of samples. Carroll and Watkins, equipment and custody. That doesn't seem to clear up much for you, and you resume your investigation. Let's go back to 94. So we can either go to the wireless outfits or examine the camp beds. Wireless thingy. Beds it is. That's funny because technically they both sound like they go together. So we can go to the wireless thingy or the beds. We'll go with... or beds. I mean, it's either one or the other before we look at everything else. We'll do camp beds first, and then we'll do the wireless thingies. So, 43. The two tents where Lake's team slept are silent and completely dark. It is deadly cold inside, and you are certain that something terrible has happened to the expedition, which we know. We found some bodies on ahead. With your electric torch, you see that the tent heaters have gone missing. There's someone here, shouts McTighe, your pilot, pointing at one of the beds. At the same time, you hear Peabody shriek from the next door tent. What you find is blood-curdling. You all abandon the area in horror, for in the other camp beds, as if asleep, lie the frozen and bruised corpses of the students. You manage to identify Moulton, Mills, and Urendorf, while Peabody tells you that in the other tent are the remains of Theodore Daniels and someone he thinks might be Brennan, but who is too crushed to say for sure. So, yep, so beds, everyone's clearly dead. So we're going to go to the wireless thingy next, which is the last option for this section, which is 25. Wireless thingy. Beds then wireless, yeah. The tent that stores the wireless outfits is in a sound state, but a curious odor, like rotten fish, impregnates everything. A quick glimpse at the wireless is enough to see that it's been roughly handled, and although it might be easily repaired, it looks like someone or something had been shaking it and hitting it. The microphone is missing, although the lead still hangs from one of its sides. When the wireless operator, McTighe, tries sitting on the chair to examine it, he turns towards you. He's got goosebumps. You approach him carefully, and what you see fills you with terror. Stuffed under the table is the crushed corpse of Atwood, his fingers still clenching the microphone. So the next option is to basically go back to the maps, which is 22. It'll make sense. It'll make sense. So we've gone to the structure. We've done the camp. We can either check the hangar, the grave, or the dog corrals. All will make sense, Katie. All will make sense. So we've got dog corrals, the common grave, or the hangar. One says grave, one says hangar. We can roll a dice for that. 1 to 3 is grave. 4 to 6 is hangar. We got a 4, which is hangar. So the hangar, let's see, turn to 32. Dice time. I love a good dice time. I just normally roll badly, and it seems to be going well so far. The hangar it was 32. The hangar where the 4 planes of the expedition are housed is a vast tent reinforced with prefabricated materials. Fancy word for me to get right for once. As soon as you step inside, you smell the strong odor of gas. After a quick examination, you realize that someone or something has been manipulating the plane's engines. Many barrels of fuel are missing, and others have been spilt over the planes without seeking their destruction. More disturbing is that in the cabin of one of the planes, you find the lifeless body of a pilot, Bordeaux. It seems he shot himself to put an end to the nightmare lived by the explorers in camp. However, you find something useful in your search. On one of the tables are the team's flight plans, including the safe routes to cross the mountain was the outpost. So we can either go to we'll go to the grave next, and then we'll do the corrals next. So the grave is 53. Oh my god, I can't turn the page because I'm failing. This is where Lake and his men hid the bodies of the creatures recovered from the ice. A total of 6 specimens in perfectly sound condition that they managed to drag through without the aid of the dogs, and 2 others that were too damaged. Those would be used for the preliminary... God. Another word to add to the list of things I can't say. Preliminary. I English very well. Preliminary autopsies. Seemingly, Lake had commanded that the creatures be buried in ice as far as possible from the dog corrals and covered with a heavy, waterproof tarp. Aided by 2 men from your team, you undo the tarp, which is partially buried under the snow and ice. There are 5 pits before your feet, forming a pentagram or a star. But English is hard. But they are empty. Someone has poured fuel over the corpses and reduced their bodies to ashes. Clearly, these events and the isolation itself has disturbed Lake's group. Otherwise, there is no explanation for this odd imagery. Looking for the 6th pit, McTighe finds something that fills you with horror. In a shallow tomb lie the naked frozen bodies of Watkins and Carroll. Both men were burned alive. But through the transparent ice you can clearly see how they attempted to scratch their way to the surface before passing away. Fun times. Let's go back to 22. So the last one is the dog corrals, number 88. It is completely impossible to take your dogs to the spot where Lake's expedition was. When you arrive at the dog corrals, you will know why. The animals have been locked in a rectangular building made from blocks of ice and strengthened with the structure of a camping tent. English. But it is now wrecked. Coral. Yeah, coral. You get in through an enormous hole in the wall that seems to have been made from the inside. Everything is covered in blood, and the remains of the poor dogs, something has torn them apart in a terrible way, and some have their necks twisted in a horrifying manner. More frightening is the fact that among them, you find the corpse of a man. This must be their attendant, but he's in such a terrible state that you cannot identify him now. In the end, you decide to keep your dogs inside the plane for your own safety. Right, number 22. If you think you've already resolved the mystery, go to page 35. Do you know what's happened yet, everyone? Let me know your ideas while I go to number 35. This one is very short, but it has a lot of options. Do you have any idea of what's happened? I obviously read the story, so I know something is going for the dogs. The dogs have unfortunately not around anymore. Everyone from the camp, the students, the professors, the pilots, the dog keeper, and the dogs, they're all gone. Something has happened. Some have been decapitated, mutilated, opened up as if they are a specimen of some sort, like a scientist would do, or just killed terribly. Yeah, I don't care about the humans. I mean, understandable. We care about the pets. Never go after pets, for sure. Are you ready for the next bit? Because I think we may be nearing the end very soon. Ice Guy got up and killed everyone, or the prof went nuts. Well, the professor's dead. Professor Lake. We found his head in the poop hole, didn't we? In the latrine. Or it could be someone else. I don't know if there was another professor at all. But we'll read this and we'll go. But something's definitely gone wrong here. For sure. Did it drop the relic thing and now it's looking for it? Maybe. That could be it. Maybe, Katie. Might be fake. Yeah, we've got a shunned person who wanted something legit, and it was fake, and they came to the expedition and was like, it's a fake. Give me my money back. Here we go, number 5, and then we've got some options for you to pick from. After some reconsideration of the proofs obtained during your investigation, there is no doubt that something terrifying and probably otherworldly occurred during the storm. Let's put your oh my god, why am I trying to read? Here we go. I was like, this is why I was asking. Okay, there's no doubt that something terrifying and probably otherworldly occurred during the storm. Let's put your deducing skills to the test. So check the list of all researchers in the image on page 22. The number preceding each name represents their age. Oh no, one of the researchers is not in the camp. They could be the person of this massacre, or they might have an explanation as to what happened. Head to the section that corresponds with their age to continue with your investigation. Don't rush it in Antarctica. There is plenty of time to think. Didn't know I had to put notes down. Okay, let's go back to number 22. And let's go through this. So we do have it. Okay, so we know Lake is dead. I don't think we've seen a Gregory Moulton. We did find a Howard Gregory Thomas Flower. We did find him. We did find Carol. We did find Mills. We did find... I think it's Moulton. Maybe. No, it can't be Moulton. I'm trying to think. We found Theodore. We found Atwood, who was stuck under the thing that was... We found Brennan. We found Brennan. We found Bordeaux. We found Watkins. We found... Is it... No. Is it Thomas? Is it Thomas we've not found? So, here we go. I'm going through the pages again. Maybe that was the unevent person with the dogs. Maybe. So we found... So we identified Moulton. I'm going to write down these names. Moulton. We found Mills. We found Orendorff. We found Theodore Daniels. And we found someone who thinks who might be Brennan, but it's too crushed to say for sure. That's the only thing that would make sense. Maybe it's Brennan. Could be Brennan. Keep that in mind. We'll go through the rest. We found Atwood. Is it Brennan? We found Atwood. He was stuck under the table. I think it's Brennan because he's the only one we couldn't identify. Yeah, I think it's Brennan. So I think we have to go to... What number is it? Because it goes off by age. So Brennan was... Nigel Brennan was 49. Fingers crossed this is right. I don't know. Is it right? 49 makes sense. We'll go for him. If not, we can go through all the things. We found Bordeaux, didn't we? Did we find Bordeaux? I'm sure we found Bordeaux. Right? Oh my god, I'm second guessing everything now. Atwood is found. Interesting. I just realized something. There's no... If we would have gone with Bordeaux, which we know we found, who is dead, it would said to 59, but there is no 59. It goes 58 and 60. Interesting. I think it's 49. My brain is full of snot. I can't remember. It's all good. I'll keep a think here in case we go through and if it's the wrong one. So, we need to go to... I do like there is a map though. So, 49. the only one that we couldn't identify, so... I don't know if it is, though. I don't know. Outward. There's no 59. We found Watkins. Right, this might take me a while. I should have realized. Actually, it could be one of two things. Okay, so it could be... We haven't found Watkins either. One second. So we can either think it's Brennan, Watkins. Do you remember what page we were on before? That's my question for you all. Let me go back to... it was 2. It went to 35. 1 second. Let me read it out again. Check the list of the researchers on the image on page 22. The number preceding each name represents their age. One of these researchers is not in the camp. They could be the proprietors of this massacre, or they might have an explanation as to what happened. Head to the section that corresponds with their age to continue with your investigation. Don't rush it. In Antarctica, there is plenty of time to think. So it could be Watkins. It could be Brennan. The others we've definitely found. I know that much at least. So we can either go to... Which one's Watkins? 38 or 49. But I don't think 49 is right. I think it might be Watkins. Nope. Let's go through things again. Oh my god, as if. Let's have a look at Watkins then. Having a quick glance at this. No. 49. No, 49 isn't right. No. Is it Lake? No, because we found Lake's Head, didn't we? Was it Lake we found? I don't think it was. I think I read it wrong. 1 second. Let me go through the thing again. I think Watkins. You think Watkins? I'm just going to go quickly through this and see if... So we found Molten Mills and Orendorf. Brennan. We went to the latrine, which was where we found a head. Which was the latrine? 1 second. Which was the camp, which was 94. Okay, latrines was 28, so we're just gonna have to quickly go through this if we're gonna do this right. We put a hand in it, which was 102. Because we're smart. No, so it's definitely Lake's Head. Horrified, you fling poor Professor Lake's head away from you. So that is Professor Lake's head, so it can't be him. So we found... Let's go through this all very, very quickly. I'm going to have to write this down. We found Professor Lake's head. Okay. Maybe. Yeah, horrified, you fling poor Professor Lake's head away from you. We found... Go back to the rest of the camp. You're going to have to write this down, everyone, because I am too dumb for this. 94. Let's see. We went to the beds, which was 43. So we found Molten. I'm writing this down as well. Write with me, everyone. Molten Mills. Orendorf. Daniels. Someone we think might be Brennan. Could be Brennan. But it's too crushed to say for sure. We found Atwood at the under the desk. Which is weird. Well, we're going to have to just try and do what we can. So, it could be Brennan. It could be Brennan. So it either means we go to 54 or 49 we go to. It's one of them two. I think Brennan's alive and maybe it looked like he was killed and framed Watkins. It could be. You think Watkins. Watkins, let's have a look at Watkins. That's page 22. I don't know Watkins either. I don't think anyway. We don't have a Watkins. Oh, you think he killed Percy Lake? Oh no, we do have a Watkins, which is 38. Maybe. Okay. So we're going to try this different ways. So we can either... I'm going to write down the numbers of what they could be, and we're going to see what happens as we go through them, because it's going to be one of them three, and I don't know which is the right one. So you think it's... You think Brennan's alive and made it look like he was killed and framed Watkins. I love how you're like, there's been a frame, everything's going terrible. So you think Brennan. Brennan is, let me have a look at this, just make sure I've got it down. 49. Let's go to 49. That doesn't make sense, honestly. It could make sense, but I don't know. I'll read it to you, and let me know if this makes sense to you, okay? So, 49 says, going down to the riverbed seems madness, but you've explored too much to leave now, when you are closer than ever to the guts of the city. That doesn't make sense, so I don't think it's Brennan. So, 49, it can't be Brennan. I think Brennan is the one who is dead. So it's either... I think there's been an incident. Hey, Gene, how you doing? How's life? How's things? What you up to? Tell me all the goss. We're currently struggling on this Choose Your Own Adventure because I think there's been a mistake in the book. So I might have to let them know about this. So... I think... You know what I think it is? I don't think they expected us to put our hand in the toilet. I think that's what that is. Sorry, that might not make sense to you. We're in Antarctica. The expedition has gone terribly wrong. Our expedition split up into two groups. One group found some fossils of some things known as elder things, which is this thing on the book. That is an elder thing, if you know Lovecraft. I'm doing my writing homework and I have to do a transcript of a conversation. It is taking forever. Oh, a conversation of what? Explain, do tell us. But I think there's been an issue. So it's either going to be 38, which is Watkins, or Percy Lake. But the other one we've not found is Watkins, so it could be Watkins. Let's go to 38. This is getting confused now. Why wouldn't we put our hand in the toilet? It's a toilet. There's poop in there. Okay. Let's have a look at this. So you grudgingly set out. The 6-month-long Antarctic day is in its full glory. This might be it. Despite the blizzard, the sun is shining high, turning your journey into a into a swim across a sea of crystal light. Each step brings great pains for your feet to sink in the recently fallen snow, and you are now knee-deep. The light hurts your eyes and your lips and the tip of your nose are freezing. Suddenly, your sight starts betraying you, for you could swear you saw a naked little man running a few feet ahead of you. I don't know if this is right. You stop abruptly and squint. However, there is nothing except fog and ice. Danforth comes close to you and yells to overpower the wind. I think we lost McTighe. Something took him. Fear takes control. What the hell is out here? It could be this. What do you think? Do you think this is the right one, or do you think we should go to the other one? Does it say it had poop? It said it had excrement in it. Yes, there was excrement, and we pulled out a head of someone. And it was Lake's head, it said. But I think there's been a little bit of a issue with this, because I think The lakes one, let me go to 54. Let me read this one out to you. I think there's been a bit of an issue with this because I don't think they expected us to put a hand in a toilet. Okay, are you ready for this one? This is 54. You say no, keep going, but let me read you 54 just in case. You are completely certain that Lake is the missing one. But we found Lake's head in the toilet, so I think there's been a bit of a continuity issue with this. What do you think? So we can either continue with that strange one that makes no sense about us walking, or we can continue with this one. I think it's 54. We found it. Keep going with the other one. Okay. Okay. You are completely certain that Lake is the missing one. What you don't understand is what could have happened in camp. The horribly mangled bodies, the wrecked equipment, the missing specimens. The same theory springs to everyone's mind, but it is too dark and terrible to be possible. Could the monsters dug up from the ice have returned to life and ended the lives of the members of the expedition? Perhaps the explorers were driven insane and in a fit of madness fought against each other. You'll never know. I might give them a little nudge and be like, oh, there's a little bit of an issue, and just to let them know. Since you return to Arkham, you devote all of your time to persuade everyone who's willing to listen to stay far from the cursed White South. I am going to ask for that, and then I'll do a little post about it. Absolutely. I knew they woke up. You never heal completely, and after losing your job... Wait, since you return to Arkham, you devote all of your time to persuade everyone who's willing to listen to stay away from the cursed White South. You never heal completely, and after losing your job and desperate fight to prevent new expedition becomes your obsession. Only alcohol can serve the horrible nightmares, and drink until you pass out becomes increasingly more frequent. On an especially hard day when Lake's ghost won't stop stalking you, you wake up drenched in sweat on the dreadful 77. It seems something went horribly wrong. You wake up disorientated with a dry mouth due to the medicines. The first day you can't say a word. You resort to banging your head against the padded walls of the cell you've been locked up in. Hardest of all is the inability to warn someone about the horrors that stalk us out there. But you've been gagged with a leather piece. Oh, well, hey. Yeah, there's been an issue with this one. Hardest of all is the inability to warn someone about the horrors that stalk up there. You've been gagged with a leather piece, and with the tight, straight jacket, it doesn't seem as though you'll be able to remove it. What you saw outside has deprived you of your sanity, and you are going to spend a long, long time locked in this asylum. That's right, at some point you must have gone completely insane. Of course you're not willing to admit it, but you know full well what happened, and regardless of all the drugs and electric shocks you receive, you'll defend your truth. As a wise man once said, prosaic materialism of the majority condemns as madness the flashes of supersight which penetrate the common veil of obvious empiricism. The end. Maybe it... Maybe it is 49 then. Nothing is making sense in this at the moment in time. So the other one was an, what was it, 38? Yeah. So something took Matai. Let me have a look at the map and just see what else we've got. So we found Lake, Mountain, Mills. It's very confusing this because clearly something's happened and it doesn't fully. We found Gedney. I don't think we found Gedney. Have we found Howard Gedney? I don't think we've seen that, have we? Do you remember hearing about Gedney? Maybe it's Gedney. Trying to find the page now, 1 second. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember hearing Gedney in this. I've written all the other names down. We definitely know it's not Lake. It might be Brennan, but they're too smushed. But I don't remember hearing Gedney. We know Atwood was under a table, frozen to death in pure horror, holding a microphone. We found the other people where the dogs were mutilated. And someone was killed with their head cut off, and I can't remember what head that was. But I don't remember seeing Gedney. So we'll go with that then. So... clearly, you have not located or recovered Gedney's corpse. The poor man must still be keeping guard on the camp. Your concern is that out of the 6 complete specimens recovered from the ice, only 5 of them occupy the strange star-shaped tomb. You swallow and make the hardest decision of your life, to resume the search for the missing Gedney and bring him or his corpse back to civilization, if at all possible. It's less than a day-long trip to McMurdo Bay, and you have barely made it to the frontier of the frozen continent, yet you find yourselves wholly isolated and disorientated. You don't want to jeopardize the rest of the expedition, as it'd be more prudent if you part on your own in search of answers. Obviously, you can't fly the plane by yourself, so you'll need Danforth's continued aid. A mere 16 hours after landing on the base, you both board the exploration biplane, which is a very small plane, by the way, that you can build, which is why they were in pieces. You can build them and fly them. And head for the mountain range. As you near the black and sinister summits, you observe the puzzlement, and with puzzlement, the strange formations that creep up the sides. They are a tangle of cubes, ramparts, and cave mouths. You take a number of photographs. Somehow they remind you of ancestral walls in cities like Machu Picchu. Something utterly impossible if it were true. You'd be staring at a construction that could only have been made by titans. This might be the one. So it is Gedney. It took us a while, but it's Gedney. If we had known we had to write the names down specifically, I would have written them down. So, my fault, I apologize. So 95. It's Gedney who's not there. Took me long enough. Yeah. 95. Yeah, that wasn't a good ending, Katie, either. You land without much difficulty, 7.5 miles high in a quiet valley surrounded by mountains on 3 sides. Standing this close to the walls highlights the impossible shapes of these rocks. It is almost as if they'd been sculpted artificially, forming tangles of superimposed cubes reminiscent of the painting of the disturbed Rorich, which is an interesting painting, by the way. Definitely look that up. It's I'm assuming what Lovecraft based what the mountains look like to him. I've heard them going up and you doing bat crap crazy. I do too. It's very strange observing these structures with your binoculars. You have the impression that they are not even made of the same material as the rock. Danforth thinks that through the valley you could cross the mountain barrier that seems to reach from east to west as far as the eye can see and try to find the missing Gedney from up there. But it might be safe to continue on foot until you reach base camp and trust that someone will be there. So we can either continue our climb up to the outpost or return to the aircraft to overfly the mountain. So, which one would you like? We can climb up to the outpost, or we can go to the aircraft and overfly the mountain. What are we thinking, you beautiful people? You think climb. Oh, we got 2 for climb. Okay. We have climb, which is 93. Let's go back 1. Ah. Here we go. You and Danforth agree that the best way to find Gedney is on foot. You climb up the steep mountainside, shaken by wind and snow. After many hours of harsh climbing, you are close enough to the cubical structures to see them clearly. Look, these things aren't natural, yells Danforth, trying to drown the howling wind with his voice. He's right, the structures seem to open into mysterious caves that lead to the inside. Every one of them. Using your binoculars, Using your binoculars to get a better look, you feel a shiver that has nothing to do with the weather. You identify the queer triangular marks with the 3 dots that Lake found. They are everywhere, carved from the sides to the entrance of the caves. This might be the right way to go. This might be the right way to go. If you wish to explore the odd cubical peaks, turn to 100. If you stick to the original plan and continue searching Lake's camp on foot, turn to 31. So are we wanting to explore the odd cubical peaks or continue on foot searching camp? What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Explore the odd cubical peaks or stick to the original plan and continue searching Lake's camp on foot? They both lead to different pages we haven't been yet. That's the main thing there. Explore. We want to explore. Turn to 100. Okay, then. We need answers. We do need answers, that's for sure. Even though reason tells you it is not the best idea, your thirst for knowledge makes you climb up using the odd triangular marks as support. I don't like this at all, says the pilot. Nature didn't make this, nor did man. Soon it becomes clear that this wasn't a good idea. The wall is so slippery and steep that trying to descend now would be the end of you. Resigned, you continue climbing to the first cavern. From there, the camp appears to be just black dots on the snow. Very quickly, you realize that the mountain range has an unusual disposition, as if protected whatever was behind it from prying eyes. If it weren't completely impossible, you could swear that they form a rampart, and the watchtowers you explore are their battlements. Go to number 30. The cubicle is obviously artificial, or at least it's been finished with tools. The walls and ceiling have been polished, and a 5-pointed starfish hole leads to a descending ramp in a steep angle towards the insides of the mountain. Since there's no other way out, you walk down little by little, wishing you had the foresight to take appropriate equipment for spellology. Can't pronounce it. Spellology. There we go. Which obviously is going down steep things. You turn on your bright electronic torches, but the thick wall of stone seems to swallow light and sound. You even find it hard to hear your own footsteps. Think it'd be better to save batteries and just use one torch at a time, suggests Danforth. He is right. The way down takes you a couple of hours until you reach the base of the spiral that forms the ramp. Turn to 83. Oh, we're picking up pace a little bit. You find yourselves in a perfectly... Oh my god, English is hard. You find yourself in a perfectly circular cave whose western wall leads to a tunnel, and the eastern to an impossibly slippery ramp. Before you reach the egress, you witness an odd occurrence from 2 puddles on the floor. A vaporous cloud emerges, and submerged in frozen water, you can see 2 tablets with odd pictograms of cones and dots marked on them. Nearing the puddle, you see something written on the ice in German. Ooh. Knowledge or wisdom, sanity or illumination. How to choose between the forbidden fruit or knowing your creator. They use tongue twister words. They do, because Lovecraft likes to use fancy words. Examining the tablets closely, you see the first is engraved in a surface of gold, and the other is on a surface of what looks like obsidian. So, will we take out the golden tablet, or maybe we'll opt for the black one, or we can forget both objects and continue down the corridor. This is the picture, by the way, just so you can all see it. No, they didn't. They didn't, I promise. They promised. So, will we option 1, take out the golden tablet? Option 2, opt for the black one? Or 3, forget about them both and continue down the corridor? But don't forget, can we take both? We cannot take both. We can either take one or the other or leave both of them. And I'll read the inscription again. Knowledge or wisdom, sanity or illumination. How to choose between the forbidden fruit or knowing your creator. Nothing bad could ever happen taking the tablet. I mean, if you think about it, you think about the Mummy, the movies, take that as what you will, you know? Take it as what you will. So what are we doing? We're taking the gold tablet, the black one, or are we leaving both objects? Just going to take a sip of water. I don't know if we can sell it afterwards. We can try to take the gold one if everyone agrees. If not, I can roll the dice for it. It could fund further research. It could. Okay, then. Gold tablet it is, number 60. We just write this page down in case we need it. So, to take the golden tablet, we go to 60. Yeah, well, this goes. When you take the golden tablet, you notice that the water where it was submerged is warm and gentle to the touch. You extract the artifact without difficulty, but it turns into a liquid that rapidly spills. The steam it generates causes dizziness, but it is brief. Danforth looks at you with concern, and you shrug. What will you do next? We can either take the black tablet, or leave through the corridor. What are we thinking with that, eh? Something bad has happened, that's for sure. Gold seems too obvious. It does, and it's basically turned into a liquid and released a steam that made us dizzy for a moment. We could take both. Take the black one. Oh my god. Take out the black tablet. 21. Okay. 21. This isn't going to go well, is it? When trying to recover the tablet from the steaming water, you realize that it is actually submerged in a transparent block of ice that gives the impression it's floating in the air. As your fingertips touch its surface, you feel extreme pain. You try removing your hand, but it's stuck to the ice, and pulling back will only skin you. The tablet starts creeping on its own accord, as if alive, towards the palm of your hand. Danforth walks away, scared. You howl in pain when, upon touching the tablet, horrible images form in your mind. You writhe and convulse until your jaw drops and your gaze is lost in infinity. The last thing you hear is a noise like smashing glass. Danforth steps back, frightened at seeing how your body starts cracking from the outside in. You might be oblivious to it, but your mind, now without its meat wrapping, belongs to the blank data of the great race of Yith. The end. So Yith is a huge triangular type of species of alien. So all of Lovecraft's kind of beings are somewhat alien and stuff like that. It's our horror stories for atheists. And they're a huge, I'm going to say cone-shaped beings with like a head and a long neck and like little claw arms. Is there a picture for one? There might be a picture for one if I look. Let me see if I can find one. One moment. I'm sure there's got to be a picture of a Yith in this. There is. This is the race of Yith. Very cone-shaped, long necks, little head, and claws. They're not necessarily evil, but they're not necessarily good at the same thing. Basically, yeah, we leave our body, our mind gets warped to them. It's a whole thing in one of the stories. It's definitely interesting. Ew, yeah. So our mind gets teleported to them. So we're going to go back to number 83, and we're going to forget about both objects and continue down the corridor to page 90. There's a few choices here, just so you all know. Corridor stretches straight ahead. The floor of black polished granite turns to huge blocks of black slate that lead to a gigantic room where there are 4 more corridors. I'm gonna cough. The room does not surprise you. It is shaped like a star, something that's become familiar to you. Many corridors are completely choked with rocks, as if they had collapsed, but it is curious that while some are impassable, others next to them are in perfectly sound condition. In the room, there are niches on each side of the star. They are barrel-shaped and big enough to host 2 people. On the floor are some curious pittings that are also shaped like stars. They'll pretend that didn't happen. Yeah, it didn't happen. We had a save state. We used it. So, These are our options. Will you go to the north bordering the mountains on 103? That's option 1. Option 2. Or will you worm your way into the underground world that opens to the west? 34. 34 we didn't see at all. Maybe you want to head to the heart of the mountain range if you hadn't already through the eastern corridors. 83. I think we've been to 83. Let me just double check. We've been to 83, so ignore that. So we can either go to the north border in the mountains, or we can worm our way to the underground to the west. Adventure, option 2. You want to go underground. We can go underground, which is 34. Pop that there. Oh, more options. The path starts to descend at an alarming rate, while darkness becomes more and more intense. What could go wrong? Exactly, nothing else has gone wrong so far. You aim your electric torch at the walls covered in odd dotted carvings, stars and triangles. From time to time you can see doors, but they are all under lock and key, secured from the other side. At last the corridor disgorges, oh god, into an enormous circular gallery made of stone. It has no floor, just one corridor that surrounds it, and a narrow ramp that spirals down into darkness. On the vaulted ceiling, someone or something has engraved what undoubtedly are constellations and star charts. If you have any means of recording these findings, this is clearly the time to use your cameras, tracing paper, or any other means. Otherwise, it might be better for you to continue exploring the city. So, we can either go back to number 90, which is where we were just before. If on the other hand you'd rather walk down to the pit following the engraved constellations, go to 8. Or we can go deeper into the bowels of the citadel circling the pit to the east. We can either go back and try the other way, or we can go follow the constellations, or go further down, more deeper. That is our options right now. What are we thinking? Further down? Or follow the room with the constellations, or we can go back and go to the other direction. Follow the constellations. We do like deeper. Oh, both seem like a good idea. Both seem like a good idea. Gonna pop over here. So, 1 or 2. We can roll the dice for this if we can't decide. Both seem like fantastic ideas. Let's see. 1 to 3, we're going to follow the constellations. 4 to 6, we're going to go deeper. That is a 6. That's the first time I've ever rolled properly high on them before. So we're going to we're going to go deeper. So, let's see how well this goes. Let's see. Let's see, where is it? Go deeper, 45. Might be a bad idea. You walk carefully so as not to fall into the deep abyss, from which only a narrow footbridge separates you. It doesn't even have the basic protection of a handrail. Finally, on the west end of the circular building, there's a corridor which is clearly inclined in an angle of descent that leads to the interior of the nameless city. Danforth is not too pleased with your decision to continue the exploration and seems anxious to come back to the surface. Promise me that as soon as we find an exit, we'll leave this cursed place, he begs you. You tries to calm him down as you advance along a corridor that turns out to be a hanging bridge that connects 2 towers of titanic dimensions. At least this one does have a 5-foot-tall handrail. That you don't see at first is that it hangs in mid-air. Walking faster and faster, you make it to the second tower, which is actually more similar to the cone of an artificial mountain. It is so big that it contains a second smaller citadel. And this is the picture for it, just so we can all kind of see what it is that we're walking across and going. So we're going to explore the new structure, which is number 9. You are apparently walking through an isolated suburb in the middle of the city. The buildings are in a terrible state, worse than any you've seen so far. You walk through streets and buildings trying to find the best path over your head and see the thick glacier layer. Over the center of the gigantic tower that contains the citadel, a smaller path leads to the outside through the layer of ice. You have to turn around and around to make it to that structure. The life of the batteries of your electric torches is starting to die down. Luckily enough, light is filtering through the ice. The structure is actually a spiral that sinks down into the ground to the dry bed of an underground river. I see this is something that we may have read before. It then returns to the surface. From the bottom of the hole comes a horrific sound, a high-pitched and repetitive whine that makes your hair stand on end. The awful discord is inexplicably combined with a strong, fishy odor. What will you do? So we can try and go back to the surface, or we can walk down the depths of the city next to the dry riverbed. So what are we planning to do? Try and go to the surface, or we're going to go deeper to the riverbed. And we did read a little bit of the riverbed because we did get one of the choices wrong, so we know a little bit of it. Go for a walk, which is where we're going to the riverbed or up, or we're going to go up and try and escape. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, going down to the riverbed seems madness, which is the thing we read before. Hello, thank you very much. Hey, Jordo. But you've explored too much to leave now, when you are closer than ever to the guts of the city. The spiral leads to a beach clear of any waste. One of the sledges missing from Lake's camp is lying by the shore. And on top of it are the mangled remains of poor Gedney and one of the dogs. From the distance, you hear the confusing cacophony, I can pronounce that word at least, of 1,000 penguins. It turns out the river basin is packed with monstrous albino birds. Some of them are almost 5 feet tall. These stinking creatures reek of rotten eggs, and their legs seem deformed as if they were tentacles instead. Oof. The penguins descend to darkness through a net of corridors that open on one of the embankments of the river basin. Here is a picture of the thing. So it says, stinking mutant penguins gather in a subterranean beach. It doesn't show any tentacles, but it just shows that they are large penguins. There you go. We found Gedney, who was the missing person, so you were right. I wasn't on the phone, I'm so sorry. Bloody tentacles. So you can descend to the true heart of the city to 68. We are slowly getting there. What I am going to do is I'm just going to mute myself and turn the camera off for a quick second. I feel like my blood sugar is a little bit low, so I'm just going to grab something to drink very quick that might have a little bit of sugar in it. So I'll be 1 second, you beautiful people. I apologize. It's been a while since I've had this issue. But we know you were... yeah, but Katie's not into that. Yeah, but I want them books that... the pictures that Jenny sent. JJ sent. So, where were we up to? Do I remember where we were up to? I think I actually closed my book. There was penguins, at least. I remember that one. And then we went... Right, let me just find the penguin thing again. Very impressive. I want them. 1 second, sorry. I'm just trying to find the penguin thing again. One moment, you beautiful people. Page 9. Let's have a look. And then it was... So we were on page 9 before that, which is going to help. Which led us to 49. There we go. Yes, so we saw the penguins that went further into darkness, and we can now descend to the true heart of the city to 68. There we go, that's where we are. Thank you for remembering that, Katie, even though you're really ill. I appreciate that. Hey, Milo. Hello, Baba. We were heading down. Perfect. Thank you for remembering that. I really appreciate it. So, let's continue with this. Milo, I know you've come for that Pop-Tart. No chance, Baba. 1 second, I think he wants to come up. You coming up? Oh no, you're going over there instead. Do you want to come up here? You coming up here? No? Okay then. I won't sit comfortably and just wait for him to jump up. Here we go. Anyway. You turn on your electric torches again and surrounded by a flock... Oh god, and surrounded by the flock of albino birds, start your descent through corridors that are wider and better looked after. The temperature rises and the rubble disappears and gives way to a perfectly preserved slate paving in black. You cross rooms decorated with images of the queer creatures discovered by Lake. Their barrel-shaped bodies that spread out membranous wings are easily identifiable. These pictograms tell the history of the splitting of the bloodline into two branches. The marine, much bigger, and the terrestrial, which little by little started to deteriorate, Jesus, along with the city until it was forgotten by its kin and its servants, the fearful Shoggoths. I love Shoggoths, they're creepy. I don't think you'll like the description of them if we do get there. The torches are failing you, so you decide to turn them off while you look for a way to exit these tunnels. Yes, that is Milo. I only remember because of 9. Fair, fair. Yeah, Milo is the best. Milo, are you coming here? Milo. Here. Come on. He's just staring. Okay. So if you have with you any means to orientate yourselves or mask the sound like a compass or confetti or even a notebook to trace the route and retrace your path, turn to 10. So we do have a notebook, that's why we have paper. I wish it kind of explained this at the beginning that we needed that, but I always keep them just in case of these books. So we can either use the notebook, or if you have no means of orientation, go to 67. So, or does it mean we need to have it on us? Because I don't think we have, the character has it. So we can either go to 67? I don't think 67 is the right one. 67 is death. We don't want that. So we're going to pretend we do have it. And we're going to go to 10. How does everyone feel about that? Because I want us to get to the ending of this. So I'm enjoying it. But also I want to know. That's a picture I don't want to see. Katie won't like that one. It's not tentacles, but it reminds me of them pictures that people pop up. But yeah. If you have with you any means to orientate yourselves to mark the ground, like a compass or confetti or even a notebook, I'm going to say we're going to use our notebook that we have IRL. We are the character. Exactly, we are the character. We have a notebook. So we can trace the route and retrace your path. We turn to 10. Ha 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 ha. We're survivors. We're not dim, you know? The jarring sound you are hearing is now much louder. So much so that it seems to ascend through the corridor you are walking along. Danforth looks at you with fear, and although you can only see his eyes, you are sure he is trying to tell you something. Cautiously, you turn on your electric torch, whose batteries are almost dead, and light the floor in front of you. Corpses. Dozens of corpses of the strange creatures Lake called the Old Ones lie slaughtered everywhere. It's as if their flexible bodies have been smashed and torn apart in rage by an unknown force. Maybe penguins fed off the preserved bodies of those who once ruled them? Danforth's observation makes you realize your mistake. Resume your exploration on page 87. We're getting there, we're getting there. I feel it in my toes. Turn off the torch. Your friend's voice is the only thing keeping you sane, despite the harshness of his words. These headless corpses are too recent, too well preserved to have been nourishment. No. These are the specimens Lake rescued from the ice, and their relatives too, awoken from their eons-long lethargy. Oh my god. In the coldness of an unknown era, attacked by four-footed beasts, mangled by white-skinned beings covered in odd clothes and apparatuses. The old ones. Scientists from another time did as anyone would have. They defended themselves. After finding their captors, they crossed the frozen plateaus with samples of their newest findings and read the inscriptions just like we did. They tried to reunite with their fellow men, their siblings hidden in the deepest, and Danforth ends his terrifying tale gasping. A monstrous and oppressive presence seems to materialize out of nowhere. So basically, the elder ones are basically scientists. They came here many millions before the world was really fully a world. When everything was just troglodytes and stuff like that, whatever you want to call them. And we woke them up by basically cutting them open. So as a scientist does when they awoke, they woke up and decided to, why we found the body like it did and some of the dogs, they decided to do their own on us. So they cut us up and open to figure it out, and they came back to here to try and get their way through. I've been called that. You have been called that. You have been called that. Got a phone call going on. I'm just going to say busy. We'll send that. Sorry about that. And something has basically killed them. They came here, woke some of the others up, and they've all just been killed brutally. And now there's this monstrous presence that seems to have materialized out of nowhere. I'm going to turn to 47. Was the best pickup line I had. Was not a good pickup line. Disobeying your own reason, you turn around with your electric torches aimed at the thick fog that seems to advance through the corridor as if alive. Again, you hear the striking musical sound, but this time it is as clear as the lyrics to an ancestral prayer. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm going to have to say this, because this is from the book as well. Tekalili? Tekalili. That's the noise. The prayer is Tekalili, Tekalili. The light from your torches overcomes the darkness for a split second, and little by little the fog starts to dissipate. With a terror-induced shiver, you drop your torches and break into a hasty run towards the tunnel that leads to the surface of the dead city. Turn to 111. I'm going to show you. This is the I'm going to read this to you, and then I'll show you the image, and we'll end it here, okay, you beautiful people? You run in darkness across demolished alleyways, across the polished floors of the nameless city. Neither the cold nor your hunger can stop the force of the terror that pushes you forward. Not knowing how or when, you wake up in the midst of howls in one of Arkham's dark cabins. Poor Danforth beside you is rocking backwards and forwards while chanting the familiar citations of the Boston-Cambridge tunnel. There is no recognition in his eyes, and when you start remembering, you can only envy him. If you ever manage to recover, you know that you will try with all your might to discourage unwary men from setting out to the frightening mountains of madness. But right now, you can only reenact over and over the last insistence of the nightmare you had to live. Looking back, you expected something horrible to be following you, but you could not have foreseen that what was to come from the fog would be so evil and abhorrent. A column of a fetidly plastic black iridescence that gave off a cloud of smoke coming from the abyss. A shapeless mass of bubbles and myriads of eyes forming and unforming like pustules that advanced towards you, stepping over the manic penguins. The last thing you recall from your frenzied flight was hearing the mocking cry of Tekalili, Tekalili. The monstrous Shoggoths merely mimicked the voices of their masters. The end. It's not a tentacle. It's basically a changing mass, kind of tentacles, but and eyes that reform. I'm going to show an image now. The tentacles do not have suckers on them, just so you know. But I'm going to show the image so you can look away very quickly. But basically, the Shoggoths were basically slaves to the Elder Ones, and they got so tired of it, of being used like this, that they basically had a revolution and they slaughtered the Elder Ones, and lived where they used to live. But they were the workers of the Elder Ones. But I'm going to show a picture now of them. Oop. That is a Shoggoth, a changing, formulating, undulating mass. There we go. And that is the end of that. Basically, what really happens is, at the true ending of this, they do escape, and Miskatonic is trying to send another expedition to the exact area, even though they've told them not to. Looks like Spiffniff lad. I don't know what that means. But yeah, they basically escape, and Miskatonic's basically sorting out sending an expedition back to that place because they don't believe him. And the book is basically his recollection of everything that happened and them escaping to try and tell them don't go there. Oh, spiffing. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yes, that is the book. I enjoyed it. There was a little bit of an issue with some of the pages, but it clicked at the end. It wasn't their fault, the issue that we had with the names or the ages. It was my own fault, so obviously not going to send anything to them. But I enjoyed this. What did you all think of it? The story itself, the short story by H.P. Lovecraft, while the beginning is kind of mundane and it's all about, you know, getting the equipment and how the equipment will work before they get there, the story itself is amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. I have many versions of it in book form. So yeah, one of my favorite books, first ever H.P. Lovecraft book I ever read. But what did you all think? I would love to know. Won't be another live stream for a couple of days because obviously I'll be in hospital on Tuesday for an operation. There might be some videos I might have ready beforehand, depending on how tomorrow goes, because obviously I need to make sure I've got everything ready and cleaned up. But I might have enough time to have a video ready for Tuesday while I'm having the operation. We do have some solo RPGs that I have planned, which is Alone Against the Zone, which is based off Roadside Picnic, which Stalker the games are based off. Let me just show you the book very quickly. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to smack the mic, which is this thing. And we do have 4 Against Darkness. The continuing campaign is going to continue. But yeah, that's our, for Don't Die July, that reading challenge is the Cosmic Horror book. I can tick that off. We've nearly finished the whole bingo board for that. And I'm glad you like it. Thank you so much for being here. I know sometimes Choose Your Adventures is not everyone's cup of tea, but I appreciate you that you've joined in and you picked some decisions. We all picked bad decisions. You all picked good decisions mainly. There was the odd one, but you did really well and I'm dead pleased. So yeah, solo RPGs. We've got Alone Against the Zone coming up. More 4 Against Darkness for the Crow's Nest campaign. And I am working on, hopefully, to have a one-shot, either Dragonborn or Dungeons and Dragons for the channel for Don't Die July, or for at least August next month, because that is fantasy-based as well. So hopefully we'll have a one-shot sorted for that, and we can find some people who want to join in for that for the channel, just to celebrate it, because it is books, and they are books, so there we go. But thank you for being with me. I really appreciate it. What we are going to do is going to go to the ending screen, because I do seem to have a lot of missed calls. So, like always, a massive special thank you to Bummalum, Fire, we got JJ, we got Orca, we have Nico, Katie, Nord, and Witchy for supporting me in times of need and also supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, so much. We do have a Patreon. It's completely free. I'm uploading free tables for people who do the RPG-ness of everything. They will all be free on there. So, and also we have Buy a Coffee as well. All are optional, but everything is free on there. But thank you so much. I do appreciate it. You're all amazing. You're all awesome. And thank you so much. Cheers.